Just for warning, the piece is going to contain mentions of death, funeral, suicide, and suicide idealization.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
A church bell is ringing under the water. They say that Bala Lake has a village in it, drowned hundreds of years ago in an incident not quite natural. They say the village has not forgotten. That story has always intrigued me. I grew up in Bala, hearing tales of the wicked prince Tegid Fall, whose greed caused the whole village to be punished and flooded. When I was younger, I wanted to learn how to dive so I could explore the depths of the lake and discover it. Other things got in the way, of course. I grew up, I did a degree, I moved away. I always meant to come back, visit my mother and see how things had changed, how they stayed the same. When I had a better job, when I had a house rather than renting, when going home didn't feel like giving up, that's when I'd go back to Bala. So I didn't. Mum's funeral was the only thing with a strong enough pull to bring me back. It was cloudy, the day of the funeral. I don't know if I would have felt better if it was raining, or maybe if it was sunny. Instead it was grey, which, now I think about it, was probably more fitting. Everything had been grey since Mum died. She was the only thing I had left, the only friend I had stopped replying to my messages about a month after I moved away. I mean, my mother was the only family I've ever had. Alone, I drifted through the funeral, followed the hearse to the graveyard, and watched her be lowered into the ground. The minister patted my shoulder before walking away, but I barely felt it. The Travelodge I was staying in was warm, I think. I could have stayed at the old house, I suppose, but I couldn't even open the door. Not without her there. Instead, I paid for a room for the weekend, giving myself time to attend the funeral and have the house surveyed. Everything else could be done online or over the phone. I spent most of my time there, lying on the overly firm bed, not thinking. I haven't cried since she died. What's wrong with me? A church bell is ringing under the water. Mum used to say that the Welsh are born with music in their blood, that we inherit it from each other. She also said that we are descended from legendary Welsh queens, and I got my name, Gwenllian, from them. I'm not sure how true that is, but for as long as I can remember, I have had a song playing in the back of my mind. I almost forgot about it when I left. Busy with university and then scrambling to make a living, it faded away. Back in Bala, it feels like the most real thing in the universe. It's louder now than it's ever been. I wake alone in my room, fully clothed on top of the bed. I don't remember falling asleep, though I suppose I must have. The lake is calling to me. If I thought the world was grey before, it's as distant now, barely present. Noiselessly, I leave my room, leave the Travelodge, and walk through the town. There are no people, but a crowd of cats are gathered around a discarded box of chips, hanging half on and half off the pavement of the main road. They freeze and stare at me, eyes following me as I walk past them. At the shore, the lake is so still it's a mirror of the sky. The moon hides its face behind thick clouds, but it's bright enough to see where the water meets the earth. I crouch and start unlacing my boots. It's a natural enough instinct to slip my phone inside one of them before I stand again and wade into the lake. The freezing water laps around my shins and then my thighs. Absently, I think that it would be more fitting if I was smaller, waif-like, and wearing a nightdress rather than my black jeans and ratty jumper. The ripples from my movement spread across the lake, shattering the smoothness. A head breaks the surface of the water in front of me, a monstrous mix of things lost to history. Its mouth is open. There's a glint of teeth that would be described as needle-like if not for the size. Large, dark, intelligent eyes regard me, and I realize I am singing. Have I been singing that melody since I woke up? Longer? I close my mouth, but the song grows louder still. The creature seems to grow closer. You are a very different maiden to those who have come before. Are you here to trick and trap me too? The voice is indescribable. unheard and yet resonating through my mind. Bitterly, I imagine those former maidens with their smooth white skin and flowing golden hair. I doubt many would consider me a maiden anymore. I shake my head, but find myself unable to break the creature's gaze. I am not here to trick you. I want to know more. The mouth opens wider, and I wonder vaguely if I'm about to die. Very different. I am the Afank. Ask me your questions, maiden. Gwenllian, not maiden. I stopped. It didn't matter, and there was one thing I wanted to know. Is there a town at the bottom of this lake? Did you drown it? You should know this, Highness. Your line escaped when Tegid was punished. I was sent to end him and those like him. I feel as though I've been dunked headfirst into the lake, though the water is only up to my waist. It's all true. Done.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.